Whereas if I don't have stuff, I'm just gonna eat whatever I have in my house, which probably is not gonna be good. My name is Allie and I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I have to say probably Iceland. Everything was so fresh and it's very different because like they're a big island, a big northern island. So they don't really have a ton of like fresh fruits and vegetables in the way that I would think like, oh, fresh produce. But they really cool like root vegetables and their seafood was so fresh and they had a bunch of lamb because that's just one of their main sources of meat from the island. And it was all so good and stuff that I had never really had before because I feel like in the US, it's a lot of chicken and beef. For me, it has to do with like how I feel when I eat the food, I guess. So like something that's going to make me feel like nourished and like I can have energy and do stuff. Yeah, that is tough. There are definitely times where I am just going to eat what I want to eat because it sounds good. But there are also times where you do have to think about if I'm meal prepping or something, okay, like what would go well with this or what would make me like feel good after I ate it. Sometimes it has to do with like textures or like what's in season, depending on like fruits, vegetables, that type of stuff. Processed foods in general, I feel like I try to stay away from. However, there are times where I'm like, I just want like this protein bar, like it's easy, it'll taste good, or like snack wise, like, oh, this sounds really good, like Cheez-Its or something crunchy. Yeah, honestly, what I've noticed is when I don't have like fresh food or good food available, if I come home from school or come home from work and it's just like the first thing I see and I know I don't have anything else, I'm like, oh, I'll totally have some of these chips. Whereas like if I come home and I have a nice like pre-made thing or I have something that I could cook pretty easily, then I'll obviously cook the thing that's right there. But if I don't, I just go right for the processed foods. I have to have a list. I will get derailed very quickly if I just walk into a grocery store aimlessly. I'll be like, oh, look at that over there, or look at that over there. So for me, it has a lot to do with like maybe what I have going on that week and what I want to eat. Like if I know I have a busy week at school, I'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna make something super easy that I don't have to like take a lot of time to heat up and prepare when I'm like reheating it. Honestly, like a good salad sometimes, like, I feel like I'm really bad at making my own salads. I feel like I have to like go out and find that. But, like a good salad with some like good fresh vegetables in it, some good fresh fruits. I love like a well cooked like meat, like chicken, pork, something like that, like a really fresh like taco or something where I'm like, oh, like you can tell that this has been cooked, like people put their love and like time into that and it's not just like easily made. Got a sweet tooth, like definitely some candy, some like dark chocolate or some dark chocolate peanut butter cups are kind of my go-to. I love Grassi's. They have chicken parm, which is like really good, but obviously probably not on the healthiest. That's one of those where I'm like, oh, this is maybe more of like, oh, I just would love to go out and get this. We have this chain called Crazy Bowls where it's like kind of like a Chipotle-esque, but it's like much fresher, I think, and it has all different options, but it's really good, like meat, vegetables, grains. I don't know, I don't feel gross after I eat it. You can tell it's better for you. And sometimes if like the Chipotle's and like the fast foods, I'm like, maybe this isn't as healthy as we think it is. I would definitely say almost ease into it, where like maybe make some things where you're like, okay, like I'm taking steps in the right direction, like incorporating some fresh produce or incorporating some lean meats or something that you would think of as healthy, but then maybe you don't have to go straight to just like a super bland chicken and rice and broccoli. Like that's not going to really encourage you to eat healthy. I definitely think for me, figuring out what tastes good, but what's also a good source of protein and has some good vitamins and stuff in it was super big. And also I just like meal prepping. Like I feel like for me that saves me a lot, where it's like when I have the time to make the healthy food and like go to the grocery store and plan it out, I'm going to be more successful during the week. Whereas if I don't have stuff, I'm just going to eat whatever I have in my house, which probably is not going to be good.